A história de Jogos Mortais começa muito antes do filme chegar aos cinemas em 2004. Cerca de 5 anos antes, os jovens aspirantes a cineastas James Wan e Leigh Whannell se conheceram na faculdade de cinema na Austrália e decidiram que queriam fazer um longa-metragem juntos.
Saw really started from James and I wanting to make a film. James really badly wanted to direct. You know, I met him at film school and he used to make these little claymations. For myself, I was kind of interested in writing and directing and acting, and so eventually our problems sort of met in the middle. It was like, if we make our own film, I can play the lead and you can direct.
Mas ainda faltava uma boa história para eles.
I rang him one day and I go, "Hey Lee, I've got the idea for this film that we're gonna make. It's about two guys, they're stuck in this room, they're chained to both ends of this dungy, decrepit old bathroom. Lying in between them is a dead body. In one of the dead body's hand is a tape recorder. In the other hand is a gun, and each of these characters find these little mini tapes in their possession which they play, and there's a voice on the tape recorder that tells them what's going to happen to them if they don't play this game. And every now and then we will keep cutting away to the villain, and at the end of the film, just when you think the main villain is the guy who's engineered this whole thing, the guy laying in the middle of the floor the entire film gets up and walks out the door.
Saia ou morra. Faça sua escolha.
E 9 meses depois, com o roteiro em mãos, eles precisavam de investidores para realizar o filme. E foi então que decidiram criar um curta-metragem financiado por eles próprios, com base numa cena do roteiro, onde muitos dos elementos visuais que mais tarde apareceriam no filme já estavam presentes.
Lee and I thought that, hey look, you know, we're really broke right now, we don't have any money, but we thought if we're gonna go all the way to LA for a handshake, we might as well shoot a scene from the script to show these people that we're not just writers, but we're filmmakers as well.
We just got some friends together, people that we knew, and banged it together really quickly.
We picked one scene from the script and we shot it, and then we took it with us to LA.
O curta Jogos Mortais chamou a atenção dos executivos da Lionsgate, que aprovaram um orçamento de pouco mais de $1 milhão para a realização do longa. O próximo passo seria convencer o elenco a participar de um filme de baixo orçamento.
When you get a script and a DVD at the same time, you know, your inclination is to throw the DVD in and check it out. Well, I gotta tell you, I sat there and looked at that and went, whoa.
Ele me ajudou.
E a atriz Shawnee Smith, que acabaria se tornando símbolo da franquia no papel de Amanda, foi escolhida por uma razão um tanto quanto peculiar.
Shawnee, everyone knows James had a big crush on Shawnee for a long time, so he's happy to work with her.
Who James has a crush on. That's why he cast her, to meet her. And he still was unsuccessful. He gave her a role and she gave you nothing.
I'm a big fan of Shawnee's work. I've been a big fan of hers, and I've had a crush on her, I guess, since I was like a young kid in, since I was like in high school and all that. So when my casting director asked me who I would like to play this part, my first thought was Shawnee Smith.
They called me into the office to watch. This was the one scene that they had filmed to get the movie made, and Lee played my part. And so I came in the big conference room, all these guys sitting around the table, and they showed me this film, and I felt like, the belle of the ball, and it's like my Cinderella moment. Okay, I'll do it. I think the roles in horror movies come to me because they know I'll really play the hell out of them, because that stuff trips me out.
Well, if you ask me why I did that film, there were multiple reasons. And the story, I was like, 3 guys locked in a bathroom? Well, that's so, it's Waiting for Godot. I mean, who makes a movie about 3 guys locked in a bathroom? When I got to the moment when he gets up from the floor in the script, I had not anticipated that moment. So I thought, if they shoot this moment well, it's going to be a fabulous moment.
First day it took about an hour and a half. Second day it took about 45 because we knew what we wanted. And James had passed on the thing. And then the third day it took about, I don't know, 20 minutes. 10 minutes.
Ele não é um assassino. Nunca matou ninguém.
Jogos Mortais foi gravado em 18 dias, e boa parte dessa efetividade veio do fato de haver apenas uma locação disponível para a gravação de todo o filme.
I knew that the only way we were going to be able to make this movie for this budget was to shoot it in 18 days and to be in one place. If we had to have trucks and move around and do all that, there was no way we were ever going to get it done.
Todas as cenas foram gravadas nos estúdios da Lacey Street, um galpão antigo com 3 prédios, onde a produção encontrou todas as locações que precisava, desde a delegacia até o banheiro, que seria o cenário principal do filme.
I mean, basically we had to shoot all of the environments at Lacey Street. And so there was this beautiful metal door that we loved. So we built the bathroom inside this room.
And the bathroom set was the only set that we built from scratch. Everything else was a modification of something that existed and still does exist at Lacey.
I pushed the bathroom a little bit because I like to have a backstory to every room. And I didn't want it just to be a bathroom, like a men's or women's room.
The first moment that I have that was truly was when I just went on a quick tour of the set and they were in the middle of building the bathroom. And that was when I was like, whoa. I just remember being blown away by the fact that this room that had only ever existed in my imagination for the past 4 years was now there. You could touch it.
Working in the bathroom set, which was out of 18 days, 6.5 were there. So a little over a third of the film was shot in the bathroom. And this set was very small.
E o grande desafio da produção era filmar num espaço reduzido, sem que a equipe e os equipamentos aparecessem em cena.
Now, if you look at the movie and you look at one of the wide shots where you're seeing, like from Carrie's point of view, Leigh chained to his corner of the bathroom, and you're seeing the whole bathroom. Just picture 15 of us standing on each other's shoulders, back behind the camera, stuffed into this little corner. So that's what it was like every day in that bathroom. And then, you know, of course, adding all the blood, which was a progressive task. And it came to the point where I was constantly going, okay, don't step in the blood. We got to cover up the blood. And people were starting to step in it and footprints were going through. And that was like the last thing you needed was to see like a grip's footprints going across the bathroom.
Uma das primeiras armadilhas, e talvez uma das menos complexas de Jigsaw, é o dispositivo das furadeiras. Para tornar a cena segura, a equipe construiu brocas falsas, feitas de madeira e papel alumínio.
The movement of the drills towards the guy was done by hand. So we had total control of that movement. And the way the track was built, it could only go so far.
And you have to figure out a way how to stop this machine, which is unstoppable. And the guy has a gun on him and decides he's gonna blow the drill bits apart. It's basically a body squib inside of a steel container. Put the stuff inside the cap that you want to make them look like pieces of drill bit. You'll get sparks and everything flying out of you. It's not like, wah, you know, like dragon's breath or something.
E o equipamento utilizado por Jigsaw para cortar a garganta do detetive Tapp também era funcional.
This is bigger, and it's the opposite way. It goes on top of your arm, and it springs out. And the reason we made it go on top of your arm and spring out, because if you make an actor spring it from the inside of their arm, the chances are their hand will be in the way 90% of the time when the thing goes off. This here, we built a mechanism on it that fits on your hand, so that in order for it to work, you have to push down, making the mechanism go off and bringing your hand out of the way. So this is an apparatus that will be underneath his clothes, and then he just goes like that. Cuts the guy's throat.
The jaw trap room is this totally empty space, exactly the way we found it. And we put just no lights. We let everything go to black. Shawnee Smith, with this jaw trap on, is sitting in a chair, and we set up a circular dolly around the chair. And we just went around and around and around at different camera speeds, at different dolly speeds, and that was it.
E E o dispositivo mais emblemático da franquia é a armadilha de urso reversa. Ela foi a primeira criada por James Wan, mas seu design foi aprimorado para o filme.
The fun memories from the traps. Let's see.
The reverse bear trap was the thing that I wanted to work on more than anything. That really had me. And the problems with it was so heavy and so mechanical, and so we had to come up with something else. After we looked at this picture of the original one that they did in Australia that this movie was based on, and seeing that it was too big and everything, Julie, the production designer, came up with these concept drawings of what she thought it should look like, with screws and nails and sharp points and everything.
This is, which I believe is the coolest gag in the show, and it's called the jaw trap. And basically the way they describe it is, it's a bear's trap with the springs turned inside out. 2 pieces of steel are in their mouth on the bottom and 2 pieces are on the top. And when the timer goes off in the back, it rips your head apart.
Because there was no budget, right? So the head contraption, the jaw trap, was like really heavy.
This is the original, the one and only reverse bear trap. It still has Shawnee's hair stuck in it. And the thing is made out of aluminum. Keep it nice and light so it isn't steel like the one that they had originally on Leigh's head. This is the actual air cylinder that makes the mask open up real quick with nitrogen. And the gears that are on this thing are from bicycle. I just took a bicycle gears apart and put it on it and stuff, and just put other parts on it that I found, little knobs and whatnot and everything. And then the whole thing was painted to look rusty and stuff.
They use compressed air to basically blow the thing open.
Nitrogen ram opens up this jaw going in both directions. We used a little pyro device inside the blaster head to boot, so at the same time that Charlie pushed the button to open this up, I pushed the button and blew the head apart.
That sequence consists of 2 shots. First, the throwing it down, and then it blowing up. It blowing up was just literally running a tube from the jaw trap to a compressed air device, and they just literally just blow it off camera, and the whole thing just pops open.
Muitas pessoas ficam tão ingratas por estarem vivas.
O boneco Billy usado no filme é o mesmo construído por James Wan muito antes do início da produção, e ele também teve seus momentos de improviso.
I remember when we were going to shoot the film in LA, I thought they'd do the Hollywood version of Billy. You know, they're like, no, we're going to build an animatronic thing that, you know, it runs on voice command. It's going to be, you know, it's going to cost $20 million. I think Greg, the producer, said, why don't we just use the one from the short that you've already made and save us the time? So I actually had to bring this thing over from Australia in my suitcase, and I've never wanted customs to search through my stuff more in my life.
And they wanted him to ride the tricycle in to the shot. Okay, how are we gonna do this? No time, no money. Fishing line. We connected fishing line to the tricycle and pulled it in really slow, and his feet were attached to it and he's holding onto the handlebars, and it was creepy as hell, him just coming in and looking at this thing.
Não é para cortar as correntes. Ele quer que cortemos os pés.
Um dos momentos mais importantes do filme é a sequência em que o Dr. Gordon finalmente decide cortar o próprio pé para se livrar das algemas. E mesmo essa cena envolveu um pequeno truque de bastidores.
A lot of people think that the hacksaw actually cut through the foot, but not at all. We turned the blunt side of the hacksaw down, so Kerry would actually be using that side to saw his foot. And literally you run a tube behind the blade, and basically from the tube you just pump blood into it, and that's all it was.
I did actually cut my leg when I did that, even though they blunted the hacksaw. James was yelling at me, faster, faster! And I was like, well, that makes sense. I mean, I think I would definitely be doing it faster if I wanted to get this thing done. And before long, I felt this twinge of ow. and before you know it, the fake glucose blood was mixing with the real thing, but it was just a small cut. It's nothing. Here, you can see it there. There you go. There, an acting exercise.
O O estilo rápido de edição e montagem do filme acabou se tornando uma marca registrada da franquia. Mas, na verdade, essa abordagem surgiu devido a problemas nas gravações.
A lot of the aesthetic in the film really did stem from necessity. Like the editing, the quick cutting of the film was to hide a lot of flaws in production, because if I held on some of the shots for too long, you could see basically the spit and tape holding the set up. Fortunately for us, we had a video camera which was supposed to be the surveillance camera, and we shot a couple of scenes with the video camera, and boy, was I grateful for that one camera, because that one camera, we did fill in a lot of gaps with that camera.
When you look at Saw, there's a lot of still shots in there, and that was for making up for lack of footage.
Fortunately for us, all those shots ended up fitting into the story of the film.
Como é que eu vou saber se está falando a verdade?
Ainda no processo de pós-produção, James Wan percebeu que não tinha material suficiente para a edição e precisou regravar alguns takes adicionais com Leigh.
James called me on his final edit and he said, look, we need some pickup shots, but there's no more money.
I called my director of photography up. I said, do you think you'd be able to pull in a really small crew and basically sneak back out there and shoot cutaways such as the close-ups of Shoney's hands? Those were Leigh's hands, by the way, which was why the hands look a bit more masculine.
And I can't remember if it was Leigh or James, but they painted their fingernails with fingernail polish, so it looked like it was Shawnee's hand. And there's a shot where Leigh Whannell had to dress up as Danny Glover's partner.
There's a great shot in the film where, in the scene where Detective Singh walks through the door with his shotgun up in front of him, right? In the widescreen version, his head's actually cropped, so you don't actually see the face, but in the full frame one, the crop has been removed, so you see it's actually, you could actually see Leigh's face coming through the doorway. I'm like, guys, this is, we shouldn't be doing this. It's a completely different actor. What's going on here? The guy from the bathroom's now a cop? What's going on? It doesn't make sense.
Contando com um orçamento de $1.2 milhão, Jogos Mortais arrecadou cerca de $103 milhões mundialmente, se tornando um dos maiores casos de sucesso comercial de um filme independente. O longa recebeu avaliações mistas da crítica, mas se tornou um grande sucesso de público, gerando o nascimento de uma das maiores franquias de terror e realizando o sonho de James Wan e Leigh Whannell de se tornarem grandes nomes da indústria de Hollywood.
People call John Kramer an icon or Jigsaw an icon. You know, I don't have any control over that sort of thing, and nor do I ever think about that. I just continue as an actor to try to make characters as interesting as they possibly can be.
Se você gosta deste tipo de conteúdo, não esqueça de deixar seu like, se inscrever no canal e ativar as notificações. Nos vemos no próximo vídeo. Até mais!